Good morning, students, and welcome back to today's class on computing. We'll start off from where we had left off in my last class, and I had yesterday explained to you what are conditional statements, how to use conditional statements, that is, if, then, else, or else. And I think it was quite clear and evident to you how you require to use these conditional statements. Up to now, we have been touching on whatever revision work we have been doing or have done in our previous class. All these was explained to you in class 6 also. And once again, I'm revising all this. Now today I would like to move a little ahead and explain to you the concept of looping statements. What are looping statements? And why are looping statements used? And why are they important? We'll study three types of looping statements. As in our portion, we only have these three types of looping statements: for next, do while, and do until. There are three types of looping statements, I repeat: for next, do while, and do until. Now what I would like you to do also is simultaneously, along with your class 6 books, please open out your class 7 book also and try to understand these looping statements. I don't want you to read through them. You just follow as I explain. And once the concept is clear, you will be able to then read and understand what are looping statements as given in your book. Now, what is basically the requirement of looping statements? Sorry. Please bear with my voice because it may be a little distorted. Sometimes what happens, students, you have seen up to now that every time we execute a program, that program you have to press your continue key and it comes out of the execution, and again you have to press F5 key to execute it. So this is a little tedious job. I'll demonstrate it to you and then I'll show you exactly why we use the looping statements. Every time we enter any value, once the value is calculated, then we press the enter key, and again we have to run the program by pressing the F5 key. So this becomes a little tedious when it comes to programming concepts. And basically programming is to make our job easy, quick, and fast. That is why we write programs. So whatever program you may write, you require that the user will be able to enter the input, perform the calculation, and derive the output at the earliest and in the simplest method. That is the idea of good programming. So without wasting much time now, I'll come and share my screen as I always do. And I'll open out first the program which we had done with a conditional simple. Two programs we had done. One was to check two numbers, A and B, and one was to enter a student's marks and print his grade. And then I'll try to implement the different types of looping statements and show you how it works. So I'll share the screen with all of you once again. And on my screen now is the program which I had written, if you remember, by the name of Fab6. Now in this program, as I had told you, check the comparison possibilities between any two numbers. Now this was A and B, and I told you the three comparison possibilities. So we'll run this program once and then I'll try to incorporate a looping statement and see what difference it makes. So we'll run this program. It takes a little time in the beginning to execute, and once the processor has read all the compiled file, it will execute it faster. So enter the first number 23, enter second number 45. It says B is larger. There's no problem with this. The logic is absolutely correct. This is the job of a if then else, as I told you in my last class yesterday. Now it is saying B is larger, which is absolutely correct. But the problem is every time I have to press a key to continue, and this program will come out, and now again I have to run it for the next output. So again I have to go, click on start, wait for the program to run, and then again I'll have to enter any two numbers, and then again it says press enter key to continue, and then again I have to wait. So in order to avoid this scenario, we utilize looping statements. So we'll just use the first of the three looping statements, which is for next. So how do we write these looping statements? So I'll say for, we'll take a variable x is equal to 1, 2, 3. We'll execute this whole program. What we are trying to do is we are running this program 3 times. That's why we are taking for the keyword x is equal to 1, 2, 3, and we give you over here step. We can give a +1 and say +1, and now here we'll say print record number, just to show you that the record number is printing. This is just to show. And over here at this point of time, for when we run this program, we'll write over here after the end if, before the end, we'll write a next. Okay. So this step 1 and next x. Now we'll run this program and we'll see what the output is derived. Okay. We'll just run this once and then we'll see what the output it derives. So it's saying over here record number 1. Which is this record number 1? I've just printed this print statement over here. Print record number 1 x. So x is initially 1. 1. Enter the first number to A. Enter the second number to B. B is larger. Now see, it is not come out. It is showing me record number 2. Now it is asking me enter the number. Now I put in any number. It says both are equal. Record number 3. Now I enter again two values. A is larger, and now it says press any key to continue. So what it helped me to do is that instead of executing every time coming out and having to execute the program, I put it in a loop of my own and I said for x. I took a variable x is equal to 1, 2, 3. That is from one record to the third record, all this using a step of 1. Now this step 1, I'll tell you and teach you later. It can be incremented in a step of 1, 2, 5, or even minus. We'll come to that later when we do our different types of printings. For now, just simple steps in a gap of 1. So for x is equal to 1 to 3, step 1, we printed the record number to x. This variable of x, the first time it executed, printed 1. Right? Then it checked the two numbers with whatever was the output, and it said next x. So the control was transferred back again, and x value became 2 because it was a step of 1, an incrementation of 1. Then it said here record number 2. Then it said enter the two values of a and b, check whatever the comparison is, and then again it said next. Then this value became 3 and it printed 3, and this was supposed to execute from 1 to 3. So if I suppose increase this here, let me change this to 5. So now what will happen if I change it to 5? Now the value of this record will ask me to run this program 5 times. So basically what I'm doing is I am putting this whole program within this loop. This is the for loop. This is the heading, that is initialization, up to where, and in a gap of how many. And last of all, over here we'll have your next x. So let us run this program. Now this time this whole program, you will see, will run 5 times. Okay, so it will say print record number. Yeah, we can change it if you want to have. We'll make it comparison number. Comparison. Okay, so we'll just have a comparison number, and let us start this program. Okay, comparison number 1. So we'll put two values, any two values. B is larger. That's true. Second comparison. A is larger. 76 is larger than 2. Third comparison. Both are equal. Fourth comparison. B is larger. You can see over here. And last comparison number 5. Again, I'll give an equal value. And now it will say press any key to continue. Why is it said that? Because we have run this program 5 times. So that is how loops function. So this is the for next loop. How do you use a for next loop? Okay. So the same little program using for next. Okay. I'll try to take it. Remember the syntax: for x is equal to 1 to 5, step 1, print comparison. This is just an output, and next x. So let us save this program. And we'll go and open the 7th program yesterday, which we had done. Okay. So we have this program also which we had written yesterday. I had written it and I had shown you where we had entered the grades. Now I'll use a for next year. Now first I'll run this program for you to know how it does make a difference so that it becomes easy for you now to understand. Now what is happening is this, every time I run this program, it will run only for one student. And suppose if there is a class of 20 students, then every time you'll have to press the F5 key, execute the program, wait for time for the program to upload, compile, and then execute, right? So that's why we have looping. So first I'll run this program once. I'll execute this program for you, and then we'll move on further. So let us run the program. So we'll run the program to enter the student's name. Enter a student's name. Let us say Dinesh. And marks in computers, let us give it as 72. Grade B, Dinesh. And press any key to continue now. Now to avoid this, I told you, we'll give a loop here. And how we'll give the loop? Suppose if you have to print for, let us say, 7 students. There are 7 students in the class. You can make it even up to 50. So for, I'll take a variable. You can take any variable. I'm taking X because it becomes a little easy. X is equal to 1 to 7. Remember this. For X, up to how many times you want the loop to execute? 7 times. And you say step 1. Now we'll say, we'll just give a simple statement, print, and here we'll make it student record number. And we'll print the value of X. This is just to show you the printing of this X. The first record, first student. You can keep this record number, you can keep it roll number, whatever you want to keep it. And here last of all, after the end if, we'll give the next X. And now we run the program. So let us run it and let us see what the output is coming. Okay, student record number 1, enter student name. So let us enter anything. Chetan. Enter marks 55. Grade C, Chetan. That is what we printed. Student record number 2. Okay, Mukesh. Enter marks 98. What it says? Grade A, Mukesh. That is what we printed. Record number 3. Enter student name. So let us say run. And enter his marks 34. Grade C. Record number 4. Varun. Enter marks 73. Record number 5. Enter the name of student. So let us take another name of a student and say Ajay. Enter marks. Let us say 12 marks. Fail. Ajay is failed. That is what the condition we had given in this program. If you can see over here, less than 33 means fail. So it is executing. Record number 6. We are still not finished. Okay. So Vineet, and let us enter his marks. We have already entered 34. We'll make it, let us say 60, and see what grade comes. B grade. Record number 7. Now this is the last record that will execute. Why? Because we have given the loop to execute only up to 7 times. So 7 students' names, and we have got the derived output, whatever we wish to get. So enter any student name. So let us say Naman, and enter his marks, and let us say again 93. So grade A. So this is what you see. You got the output of 7 students, and then it asked you press any key to continue. That is the logic and the idea of how you use a looping statement. That is exactly why you use the looping statement. So this was the for next looping statement. Now I'll just make a little changes here, and I'll do the do while looping statement also, and I'll show it to you. So just pay attention. The syntax is little different. It just says here you have to initialize the value x is equal to 1. Okay, we take a simple looping statement, and we'll keep the value. I'll just keep it as the same. Now I'll use do while. Now initializing, there I used to use for x is equal to 1. Here I don't use any for. I say x is equal to 1. Do while x is less than equal to, let me say 3 only for this. So what is this condition we are given? This loop should execute do while till x is less than or equal to 3. And what does the do while condition say? That this loop will execute as long as this condition is false, is true. That means x value in the beginning is 1. So do while 1 is less than equal to 3, condition is true, so this loop will execute. Then you come down over here. Again, we'll just print the student record as x. And here, instead of having next x, we say we have to increment the value. So we'll say x is equal to x plus 1. So we increment the value of x. Sorry, it's not given. X is equal to x plus 1. And last of all is loop. That is all. So here in for next I used to use a for. Here I don't use any for. I just directly initialize the value of x as 1. Here I use do while x is less than equal to 3, because I want how many times this program to execute? 3 times for 3 students. I can increase it also. So what have I given a double condition for? If x is less than or equal to 3. Okay. So as long as it becomes less than or equal to 3, it will continue. The value will increment of x. First time it will run, the value of x will be from here 1. 1 is less than 3, condition is true. It will print student record 1, ask you to enter the name and marks of computers of students, and then x will be 1 plus 1, because here is already x is 1. So 1 plus 1, now the value of x will become how much? 2. So this loop will transfer it to the do. It won't transfer it to this. This is only executed once initially. The loop statement will transfer it to the do. Now the value of x has become 2. So 2 is less than equal to 3. Condition is true. Again it will execute. 2 plus 1, 3. 3 is less than 3? No. But is it equal to 3? Yes. So it will execute 3 times. So this is how the do while loop executes. I'll run the program and then I'll come back to it. So I'll run this program with the do while loop. How is the do while loop executed? Record number 1. This is what it is displaying. The student record number X. This record number 1 is coming from where? This one. X. Initially, how much was X? 1. Enter student name. Fabian. Enter computer marks. 87. Grade A. Fabian. Student record number 2. The same thing what we did in 4. Now what happened is this X, which was initially 1, it became 1 plus 1 is 2. And this went into this loop where 2 is less than or equal to 3, and so the value incremented to 2. Now I give another value of brother. And it says B grade. And student record number 3. And I say Arnold. And I enter and it says grade A Arnold. And now it is asking me to press any key. Why? Because this is executed. How many times I wanted the loop to execute this whole program? 3 times. So now if I press the enter key, that is what it is. So this is how your do while loop executes. The purpose is the same, whether you use do while or you use for next or you use do until. It is only how your logic is developed and what you intend to do and what you are thinking in your mind of your own. You have many ways to reach your destination. The path which you take or the road which you take, that depends on your logic. That is the beauty of programming, that you can program the same particular project or file differently and you can derive the same output. You can have a for next loop, you can have a do while loop, or you can also use the do until. Now in do while I told you this condition executes as long as it is true. So X is 1 and because X is less than or equal to 3, it will execute because it is true. In the do until, this condition is just reversed. That means do until will execute until the condition that you are given is false. So X is over here greater than 3. So do until, if you write, excuse me, when you use do until, this X is greater than 3. 1 is greater than 3, false. So it will execute. Do while used to execute because X was less than 3. The condition is made in such a way. And do until means 1 is greater than 3, false. Then only it will execute. If this condition becomes true, it will stop executing. And in do while, till the condition is true, it executes. As soon as the condition becomes false, it stops. So both these loops are used reverse. depending on your requirement. So the same program, if I run it with the do until loop, I have not made any changes except for this one line here. And now I'll run it once and I'll show it to you. So record number 1, the same thing is asking. And let me take any name. Student number 2. And Naresh. Let us do 12. Okay. Student number 3. That is record number 3. Now remember, it will execute till 3 is greater than 3, which is false. As soon as it becomes 4 is greater than 3, the condition becomes true. So it will stop. Because this is x is incrementing, and it will only stop as this condition which I have given will become false. So Chetan and so that is how it executes. You've got 3 records here, and I press my enter key now, and you'll see. So these are the 3 types of looping statements. I've just used them simply to demonstrate to you how a particular program, however big it may be, it can be put into a loop to be executed that many times without having to exit and run it every time. That is the importance of looping. Now, using looping, we will also print different types of numbers, that is odd numbers, even numbers, natural numbers, multiples of any particular digit, numbers backward. We will see that in my next class. I will use a combination of this in a forward, backward, addition, subtraction, and I'll show it to you how this loops, all the 3 loops function, and all the 3 loops have the same job. So this is about for next, do while, and do until. So for now, I want all of you to try and apply all these programs. Try and write a program, a small little program, whatever program I have given you. Try to develop your logic. I told you that in my last class also. It is very important that you all develop your own logic and understanding. You write all small programs, whatever you feel like. Program like I have asked you to calculate the marks. You may develop a program to enter the salary of an employee, add his salary. You've already done that in Excel. When I come back to Excel, I'll be explaining that how you add the basic, DA, HRA, take variables, store the variable to that, and then print a employee's name along with his basic salary, put it into a loop, use all the different types of looping. That is how to write the same program using for next loop, how to write the same program using do while loop and do until loop, and also try and apply the if then else if conditions also, and try and see what type of employee he is, whether he is an A grade or B grade or C grade employee. So for that, I'll give you a small little hint. I want you to enter an employee's name. I want you to enter his basic salary, any amount, small amount you can start from 500 to 5,000. Keep the basic at that much. Enter a DA amount. Just total the basic and DA to get his total amount. And check, try to apply a certain criteria to see whether the employee is a A grade employee, B grade employee, or C grade employee. So first you take your work in a rough copy and you categorize. Suppose he is a manager. The managers are A grade employees and the salary, let us say maximum, we'll just keep it as a simple value, 15,000. So if his salary is reaching 15,000, then he is a manager and he is a A grade employee. If his salary is reaching somewhere around between 12,000, then he is a supervisor and he is a B grade employee. Then somewhere still lower, if his salary is somewhere between 8,000, 8 to 10,000, then you can give him in a clerical post and a C grade employee. And yet if his salary is below 5,000, then you can allot him as a category D employee or a peon or whatever you want. So write this small little program, try it out, and if you are unable to do so, then I will try to write it out for you and explain it to you in my next class. So till then, I want you all to apply yourselves. These are two concepts which I have taught you in this week. How to implement and use if, then, else if, and how to implement the different types of looping statements. The same output you can derive with a for next. The same you can get with do while or do until. So apply all the three types of loops to the same program, derive the output, execute it, and see. And if you have any doubts, then you can ask me your doubts in the Zoom doubt class, most probably on Saturday. So for now, that is, stay safe and stay healthy, and please look after yourself and your families. It is important. In this time, we need to look after ourselves and our families. So be careful and stay safe, and goodbye for now. Thank you, everybody.